Good afternoon, guys. Today I'm going to be doing a video talking about proxemics, which is going to be basically referring to how space and distance communicate. So today with proxemics I'm going to be focusing mainly on personal space, or the distance that we try to maintain when interacting with others. So in our day-to-day lives, the amount of space that we feel is appropriate can depend on many different factors, such as individual preference, the nature of the relationship, or the overall cultural norms. In the United States culture, there are 4 distinct distances that can be deemed appropriate and comfortable, just depending on the context and the situation. So the first is going to be the intimate distance, which intimate distance is going to be anything up to 18 inches apart, and is going to be appropriate for private conversations between close friends. Secondly, we're going to have personal distance, and personal distance is going to be ranging from about 18 inches to about 4 feet, and that's going to be more tuned to your casual conversation. Next, we have social distance, which is going to be ranging from about 4 feet to 12 feet, and that's typically going to be more suited to something impersonal, such as a job interview. And then lastly, we're going to have public distance, and that's going to be anything further than 12 feet. So when a person begins to kind of encroach upon our space that we deem inappropriate or appropriate for the context, we kind of get a little bit uncomfortable. This could be something as simple as you sitting at a bar and there being 3 seats available on either side of you, but for some reason the stranger that walked in decides to sit directly next to you. That can make you a little bit uncomfortable, which I know in my personal experience, if someone were to do that, I probably would question why they didn't just sit, in one of the empty chairs that wasn't right next to me. So something like that can happen. But there are also certain times when people encroaching upon our space can be tolerated just as long as everyone generally follows the same unwritten rules. That could be something as simple as going into a crowded elevator or cramming into a full subway car. And in that instance, you can stare at the floor, you can look above the door, or just generally avoid eye contact. And for the most part, everyone will probably tend to follow the same situation. With that said, even with all of the cultural differences, there are some similarities that are shared, through cultures. Those can be something such as like women prefer more personal space from strangers than men. Or also, people living in warmer climates tend to keep less distance than those that live in colder places. And then something that kind of stood out to me as well was that the older you are, the further distance you tend to keep when communicating. So I thought that was kind of neat. And I would be interested to maybe try and look into why exactly that was. What reason would you have for standing further apart as you get older? But all that aside, I think just being aware of proxemics and personal space boundaries can help you achieve a more consistent communication style, just depending on the context, the situation, or the desired outcome. But that's all I have today, and thank you guys for listening.